welcome back. Today we are going to have a little chat about Age of Sigmar Spearhead and the way Games Workshop is talking about that game, and whether or not the way that they're sort of advertising it is in fact the way to go, or whether it might lead to some unrealistic expectations going in. Now, before we get fully into this video is sponsored by Into the AM. We'll hear more from them a little bit later on. Now, I have been hungrily, ravenously devouring pretty much any and all information I can get on Spearhead, because frankly I do not have the amount of free time that I would like to have. With a couple of kids running around, there are a lot of things that need doing that kind of take away from the amount of time that I would love to spend just playing games, but I don't get that opportunity as often as I'd like to anymore. And the idea of Spearhead, something which, as Games Workshop has said quite a few times at this point, this seems to be the kind of main message of just how quick this game is. A game that you can play over your lunch break is incredibly appealing to me, even if I'm being completely honest, the statement kind of doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Like, if you actually think about lunch breaks as a whole and the way most jobs work, I think the idea that most people could get a game of Spearhead in is obviously not true, because that's not how most jobs work. I mean, obviously, if you have a stupid made-up job like I do doing this, then yeah, you can easily smash out a game of Spearhead over your lunch break. For some reason, saying smash out over your lunch break just doesn't sound right, even with the Spearhead in the middle, and that's somehow made it worse. Let's try this again. The idea that you can play a game of Spearhead over your lunch break, that's fine for those of us who, have nonsense made-up jobs like this. It's fine if you, say, work at a gaming store, or own one, or are in that sort of environment. Most people, I'd imagine, will use their lunch break to eat lunch as opposed to have a game of Spearhead. But there's a bit of hyperbole going on there, isn't there? There's a little bit, the suggestion being that it's so fast you can just smash one out as you do. That's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, that's the thing that's kind of exciting me the most, the fact that if I have a Spearhead box, which I do have already I've got most of this Sylvaneth one right there, and I just need to kit bash 3 more models and it's done. And also, over the weekend, I'm going to be printing a Cities of Sigmar one, even though I love the miniatures, but I already have a bunch of STLs from Bestiarum Games that would perfectly match a Cities of Sigmar Spearhead, so obviously I'm going to be printing that. And I also have the Flesh Eater Courts one on the way. This is becoming already a bit of an issue, and I don't even have the means to play it yet. The idea that you can play this super quick is massively appealing to me. It's really appealing, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to getting into. But everything that I've read/watched regarding Spearhead, those who have played it thanks to Games Workshop inviting them to a special thing where they got to play it early, or those who went to the Age of Sigmar event, was it last weekend, and played it there is a general consensus, which is that whilst it says, or whilst Games Workshop claim, you can play it over a lunch break, it seems that most people were getting to about turn 2 after an hour and a half, and therefore not actually getting to finish the game. And that's where I'm a little bit worried that Spearhead might suffer, not because there's a problem with the game, or because there's a problem with the rules, or because there is some sort of issue with, like, the overall, plan for that particular game mode. More that Games Workshop might be setting it up in such a way that when we first try it, we have unrealistic expectations for just how quick, snappy and easy it's going to be. Before we talk about that, however, this video is sponsored by Into the AM and their 2024 Spring Collection, and right now, I need you to use your imagination. I need you to power it up and get those mental images coming in crystal clear, because we are going on a journey. Imagine walking through beautiful woodland and lush green fields in your relaxed button-up, with its loose, comfortable fit and breathable material. Imagine crossing babbling brooks and laughing streams. Is laughing streams even a thing? Imagine walking next to a nice river in your daily shorts, made with a lightweight fabric and with a relaxed fit. Now, you're having to imagine all of that because my initial plan was to actually go for a nice walk wearing this stuff, but it has been raining for 3 days straight in England, and as such, you are having to use the power of imagination. Now though, I've got a challenging one. Imagine you with a spring outfit that is not a pair of camo pattern shorts that you've owned for the last 5 years and a black t-shirt 2 sizes too big. Instead, don't just imagine imagine, but actually follow through on checking out Into the AM using the link in the description and in the pinned comment. I apologise for any of you feeling called out by that, but you really should go and check them out. Now is the time to do it. There is a sale going on until the 29th of May where there is 30% off site-wide, so go and check Into the AM out right now using my link in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you very much to Into the AM for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to it. So here's the best case scenario. We end up getting the rules for Spearhead. We all give it a go, and we are able to pick it up super quick. We managed to get a game in about an hour, and it is exactly as it's been advertised and talked about the whole time. The idea of it being a lunch break game has come up more than once. It does seem to be the thing that Games Workshop is really kind of highlighting to, emphasise the speed at which this particular game mode can be played. However, a lot of the stuff that I've read and watched talks about not really getting to the end of a game of Spearhead well after that hour mark is already passed. And I've seen a few things that say, about turn 2 in about an hour and a half, and then having to stop because other people were waiting to play at that Age of Sigmar event, which of course means that they haven't got all the way through. I mean, one of the Spearhead boxes, which is Indrasta's Scions of the Storm, they have an ability where Indrasta and the Annihilators, I believe it is, don't show up until the third battle round. So obviously that means that you are not supposed to stop at the end of turn 2, you are supposed to carry on. I really worry that something that could really impact just how well received this is by the kind of customer base as a whole is that expectation of being able to just go in, get it done, have a great time in 60 minutes, and then finding out that that's not the case. I mean, if you haven't played Age of Sigmar before, Spearhead seems like a really good place to start. Does that mean, though, that you are going to end up spending about the same amount of time as you would playing a game of 40k to get your head around Spearhead the first time round? Like, if you haven't played AOS in any way, shape or form before this, Spearhead would be a good place to start. Would it take an hour for you to do everything, for you to know what all of your units do, to get your head around all of the rules? For some people, maybe. For the vast majority of us, I suspect probably not. And the thing is, I play AOS, and I haven't got to play it as much as I've wanted to in recent months, but I'm pretty sure that it is going to take me more than an hour to, for instance, play a game with my Flesh Eater Court when I've got that box set up, because I've never used that army before. I've never touched that army, I've had nothing to do with it, and so when it comes to playing a brand new force in a new edition of a system that I'm already kind of familiar with, I still don't think that I'm going to be sitting there going, well, it's been 60 minutes and we're done. Seems super unlikely, and I don't like the idea that we are being set up for this super fast experience that just won't be that super fast. I think at some point, the idea of marketing also needs to be pushed back a little bit with tempering expectations. I've no doubt that actually once you get into it, you'll be able to play Spearhead pretty damn quick. I mean, the board is a quarter of the size, I believe, of just a standard AOS game. And the thing is, the forces aren't tiny. A lot of the stuff that I've read and I've seen talk about pretty much getting into combat straight away because you are that close. And in fact, if you look at the official live stream of the first game of Spearhead, which we are going to stream at some point and take a look, I've cheated a little bit and glanced through it. It is pretty much a case of you are right in there straight away because there isn't as much space to manoeuvre and stuff, which obviously speeds things up. But is it going to be that quick straight away? Are you going to be able to just immediately go straight into it and be like, yes, this is a lunch break game, I can just finish one of these in the time it would take to get through one turn or something else, and this is brilliant? No, and that's the thing that worries me, because from everything I've read and from everything I've watched, it really looks like Games Workshop has approached Spearhead in, I guess, the right way. Combat Patrol was supposed to be a way to play 40k, and it was supposed to be a way to get into that game relatively easily, nicely balanced, all of that stuff. From every account I've seen so far, from people who have played both systems, Spearhead is flat out better. It's better balanced, it's better weighted, the rules have been thought about more clearly. It's just a much better version of what Combat Patrol was supposed to be, which fills me with a huge amount of hope for it. Because frankly, if you can get two people and they can buy a Spearhead box each and know that they have a game mode that is just going to work every time, that won't take forever, I mean, that's going to encourage more people to try and get into the system. That's going to encourage more people to pick those boxes up and actually try the game. That's what I want. I want to see that happen more. And if Spearhead achieves that, then that is obviously a huge success. But it also needs to come with those caveats of you're not going to be able to play it this quick straight away. You are going to have to learn the rules. You are going to have to learn the system. You're going to have to learn what your units do. I mean, the first game I have with Flesh Eater Courts, there's going to be a lot of checking and double checking cards. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. No. You need to be able to remember what your stuff does as much as you possibly can. And the only way you're going to do that is through practice and through playing. Does that mean it's going to take significantly longer than an hour to play that first game? 100%. I already know now, without even touching it, without even, having experienced it myself, I am not going to be playing Spearhead in my fictitious lunch break, which I frequently forget to take, for quite a while. I'm going to have to play it a few times just to get the grip of how things work, and it's going to be the same for everybody. It's not going to be as quick as the developers playing it and constantly going over it and over and over it. It's not going to be like that for the vast majority of people. And I really want them to stress that. I kind of appreciate the marketing need of talking about how quick and intuitive it is. I totally get that, and I want that to be true, and I think eventually it probably will be. But I also want it to be tempered with the idea of it's not going to be that quick to start with. It's not going to be that kind of experience where you just go straight in, everything's flawless, you know exactly what you're doing, because no game works like that. My big hope, I guess, is that when Spearhead becomes available along with AOS 4, it will be a case of people recognising that whilst they will one day be able to knock out a game as quick as you like, to start with, it's going to take more effort, just like every other version of every other game that Games Workshop has made. And I'm kind of hoping that the idea of play it over your lunch break is not taken as literally as it seems Games Workshop seems to want to make it, if that makes sense. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to Spearhead? Are you not too bothered? Do you have the same thing where you're like, I don't think it's going to be that quick to start with. It might be eventually, but it would be nice if we didn't have that expectation going in. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out that link for Into the AM in the description and in the pinned comment. And I'll see you for the next one.